All right, good morning, everyone. So nice to see all of you here during it's the Federation Dharma School Teachers Conference this weekend, huh? So we usually cancel Dharma School class because so many of our teachers, attend the conference. Yeah, really. No, I'm kidding. We have a lot of events coming up in May, so I just wanted to take this time to share some of the upcoming events that we have. Coming up first, on May 3rd, we are having our Betsuin Organization Day. So on May 3rd, Sunday, we'll all be out in the courtyard, and we'll have tables set up for all of the wonderful sponsored and affiliated groups that we have here at the temple. So this is a great opportunity. I encourage you guys to stop by, check out the tables, see what all these different groups are about. Even if, you're not going to join like the Boy Scouts, as an adult, but check them out anyway and see what they're all about, because somebody may ask you about them and you'll be able to tell them. So May 3rd, Betsuin Organization Day, out in the courtyard. And I don't know if you guys are checking out the flyers. We have our little Visionary Programs bulletin board in the hallway. Who's checking out the flyers? Yeah, okay, all right. So we have Introduction to Ukulele class coming up. And that is, oh my goodness, you check the flyer. Okay, check the flyer. So we have an Introduction to Ukulele class being taught by our very own Brandon Muranaka, who is a former YBA, active temple member. The Muranakas are all here. So it's really nice that we got Brandon to come out during his real busy schedule. And we're just going to do a real intro course that day. So for any of you that have always wanted to just strum one and hold one in your hands and feel what it's like, that will be a great day to come and do that. Purely introductory course. And we also have a financial seminar coming up as well, hosted by our very own Derek Seo, and that will be on a Thursday night. So that's a great opportunity to come out, save for college, learn about tax advantages, all kinds of great tips and pointers. And finally, not most importantly, but finally, bingo night, okay? So that is the most important one. Hopefully that'll be a family affair. I encourage all of you to come out. It'll be super fun. Hopefully we can fill up that whole Kaikon and play some bingo. So anyway, who noticed something a little bit different when you rolled up to church this morning? Huh? Everybody, right? Right? When you came in this morning past the courtyard? Yeah, right? So the trellis is gone, right? The trellis is gone. Did anybody even notice it? Okay, because they're like, what? So when you come in now through the parking lot, you notice it's really, well, you saw the big dumpsters and stuff there too. But it was a very busy weekend. Several weekends actually here at the Betsuin. In addition to our very, very busy service schedule, this is the third week that we've been working on removing the trellis, that big wood structure that has stood here for so many decades here at the Betsuin. And I'm sure you noticed immediately as you walked in this morning. And you probably never gave much thought to how big that trellis was until you realize that it's gone, right? You never really thought about it. And then you look and you're like, oh my gosh, it's so open. You see the roof line of the building and you can see the architecture a little bit. And it just goes to show you how many, there's a lot of important decisions being made in these board meetings here. And one of those decisions was we had to take down this trellis because it was, it's been there for so long. And there's a lot of expenses involved with running the temple, and they made the decision to say, hey, you know what? We are going to do the demolition work ourselves to help save over, $10,000 of demolition costs. So we're going to do it ourselves, even though we dropped the beam. No, I'm kidding. But, we're going to save the money. But it was a great decision. That's, they're making these responsible decisions to help make the temple run better. So this is why every contribution you guys give and every membership that's paid helps us not have to demo that stuff, so we appreciate that support. Anyway, we did a pretty good job over all the weeks. We only broke one window, so that's good, and I almost caught it on video. So you guys should really subscribe to the Facebook page so you can see these videos because I post them all. We didn't do too bad. But anyway, back in, I have a very special bond with this trellis because back in 1990 for my Boy Scout Eagle project, my project was to stain the trellis. Because I figured, hey, I'm going to stain the trellis. How hard could it be? How hard could it be? Who was there? Steve? Where's Steve? Takaki? Matt, were you there? Nishio? No? Okay. But we were all there. They remember. Because every Boy Scout Eagle project has like an hourly man-hour requirement, right? It's like 80 hours or something. So for every person that works an hour, it counts as a man-hour. In our project, I think we hit the limit by tenfold. I mean, literally. We painted every single structure. We were up on top, risking our lives and staining the whole thing. So I have a pretty personal bond with this trellis. So in a way, I was a little bit, I was a little bit sad to see it go, but I knew it was time. The wood was, the wood's failing and stuff, and over the area that we work in the outdoor sushi booth for a bazaar every year, the trellis was sagging down, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna fall on us. So it was time. It was time. And all of those years, that trellis served not only as shade for us, but every bazaar, we drill, the plywood into the sides of the legs, right? We drill that in to make the bazaar booths. And we used to hang the obon lights, every year for obon. All those would hang on those support beams. And we used to even hang the bazaar tent. That's a real heavy tent. And even those would be supported by those trellis beams. So that trellis has stood so strong and tall for us for so many years. And it's taken a lot of abuse, with all those screws and stuff. And how many of y'all here have hit the trellis with your car? Don't lie. I know, there's got to be somebody, because all those things are chipped away, and I see the little brown mark on your fender. But, it happens, right? Like you're twisting out, and yeah, I mean, so those things have taken a lot of wear and tear over the years. So that trellis has really, really served us well. But even as we were cutting it down and taking all the parts down and hauling all of it into those large dumpsters, I go, oh, it's so sad that the trellis is going away. But a lot of people came out and they said, hey, can we use this wood? Can we take this wood home? And they're going to take it home, and they're going to probably resurface it and remill it and probably make it into a lot of wonderful things, whether it's outside decks or whether it's furniture or anything. And hopefully we can get some projects even here within the temple. So you may see part of that trellis come back to life in another form. And after it's all been hauled away and taken away, of course there will be a new one, in its place, right? Doing the same job. And in a few weeks' time, you'll be able to see all that. So when I thought about all the work that had to be done, and it was easy to think about because I'm not as young as I was. I mean, hauling that stuff is, oh man, not good. My fingers bent weird and our backs are breaking. But, we finally got most of it put away. I thought about that trellis a lot, not just as a physical structure, but I thought about that trellis and what it represents. It's such a strong structure, and it provided so much shade for us and so much protection from the elements, and it provided us with this wonderful framework. And it did so completely silently and without any complaint, right? And without any credit given to it. And I thought about that because as we started to get older, we maybe didn't rely on it as much, or appreciate it as much. And the trellis, to me, represents our family, or the people that raised you, the people that raised you. It's just like the trellis. Your family is your structure. Your family is there for you, protecting you, standing tall for you, and never really asking for that much in return, right? Silently sitting there as you drill holes into your family and crash into your family, right? And pull on your family, right? It's the same thing. All those things that you do, the family, they just stand tall and they stand firm and protect you. And that's what I felt that trellis was. And even though there will come a time, well, hopefully there will come a time when you don't live with your family anymore. We hope that. There will come a time when you don't rely on your family anymore, just like we don't rely on this particular trellis anymore. But that doesn't mean that it no longer has use or value. That doesn't mean that we no longer need it, right? But that need simply changes into something else. When you leave your family nest, when you leave that foundation and that shelter and that safety, that doesn't mean you don't need it anymore. It means it's transformed into something completely different. Just like the old trellis, your relationship with your family changes, huh? So young kids, this is a tournament weekend, huh? They're all young kids. But when you live with your family and you get frustrated right now, and you're like, you don't understand me, you don't listen to me, just remember there will come a time when you move away and you get that separation, that entire relationship will change. And that appreciation will grow because of that separation. I see all the parents going, but right now, it's hard to realize. It's hard to understand because we take it for granted, right? We take that trellis for granted. We think those wood beams are going to stand there and stand tall forever, or at least throughout our lifetime. And it's interesting because that trellis has been here as long as I've been coming to temple. So I've never been attending Sacramento Betsuin at a time without that trellis. So that trellis is all I know. But even that trellis, even that structure that seems so strong and so forever, even that had to change. And so that's the same thing as your family. Your family relationship is going to change. But just like that trellis, you're not going to just say, I don't need you anymore and forget about you. That trellis will be rebuilt and it'll become something else. And it'll become something useful in our lives. And we'll still be able to remember it and still be able to use it. So I hope that's something you young ones can take away from today, and I hope you'll remember that part of the message. And I hope that you will always appreciate your parents and all the people that have taken care of you for so hard and so long, so silently, and have done so for so many years. So please remember to give back and support this amazing temple, whether you help with your labor or help with your donations to help us, so we can keep this wonderful facility maintained and keep it going for many, many more years to come. So please join me in closing Gassho. Even a mighty support beam will eventually grow old with age, but that does not mean it no longer has purpose. It simply means that its purpose has changed. Let us show our gratitude for all it has done by becoming just as strong and supporting others. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.